Good evening and welcome to Pro Talk Elite. Tonight we're going to play our new favorite game show, What Were They Thinking? I know we promised you an episode about either the second Monday Nitro, the first Monday Nitro or the second Monday Night Raw, but we both saw the top 10 countdown of the Intercontinental title. And so what we're going to do, the rules of the game are we're going to go down the list, we're going to see if we move them up, move them down, and one thought about them. My name is Robert Vine.
My name is Jesse DeAngelis.
And let's start the countdown.
We start the countdown of the most infamous IC champions of all time, number 10, with Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Remember, J E double T J double R double E. Jeff Jarrett, I'm gonna keep where he is. I think at 10 is perfectly fine. I wouldn't take him off the list. However, one word that comes to my mind seeing Jeff Jarrett on the list, shocking.
I actually fully agree from every goddamn aspect. Like, he belongs on the list. I'll give him that. He can be on the list. Number 10 is fine. I don't think he should move up. If he moves down, it's because, well, there is always a lot of good competitors, and some might miss the list, and we will talk about that as we get to superstars that probably really don't belong on the list. But yes, I believe he belongs on the list, and I agree. It's kind of shocking how Jeff Jarrett, the way he left the company, the way he's personated outside the company, he's done a lot. He created TNA. That was great when he had control of it. But no, I believe, it's shocking, but he can stay at number 10. That's fine.
Okay. Number 9, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Do you move him up? Do you move him down? And one thought.
I move him completely off the list in general. I don't think, and his reigns never really meant a damn thing. He had it, what, twice? I think he had it twice. But neither of them honestly meant a damn thing. Like, the whole build-up for him getting it where he faced The Rock and then won the match by making The Rock tap out and then wouldn't let go, so they reversed the thing. Like, if he would have actually won it there and they would have tried to go an actual reign with it, yeah, he had it recalled, and then he had to win a tournament to get it, like, a couple months later. And honestly, I just didn't agree with him being on the list. There's so many other competitors. Like, we will say one name. I'll only say one name. One name is Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels is not on this list.
Okay.
Why is he not on this list but Ken Shamrock is? That's my problem.
I'm gonna leave Shamrock at 9. I understand where they came from. Him being, besides Dan Severn being the first person to really come over from the world of mixed martial arts at that time, and to win a prestigious title like the Intercontinental Championship, it made sense. The tournament made sense. I think.
But his reigns didn't.
His reigns didn't make sense. But his popularity.
You had to make it worth it. Like, I understand it's a prestigious title. It's my favorite title. I love this title. But you have to make it worth it. That's why certain people belong on the list and certain people don't, because the reigns themselves have to matter.
Okay. Like I said, I'm fine with it. The only thing I really worry about when it comes to Shamrock being on the list is some people that you get left off. But when it comes to his namesake and having a pure athlete like Ken Shamrock,
I understand that. I like the mixture of the whole factor of bringing UFC and because he's got two styles, yeah. And I always didn't mind him, but as an IC champion, I don't know. I just don't see him being above others that aren't on the list.
Okay. Now we're going to move to number 8. At number 8 is Greg the Hammer Valentine. I wish I can give you some statistics on Greg the Hammer Valentine. However, I did know he did win his first Intercontinental Championship, I believe, in the 80s? 70s or 80s?
78.
78.
The whole reason why he's more or less on this list is because he defended it at WrestleMania 1 and walked out.
Yeah.
Walked out as a pure heel, the feet on the ropes to get the leverage pin. And
here at Pro Talk Elite, we always support heelish moves.
Yeah, we support the heelish moves. Now, here's the question. Do you move him up? Do you move him down?
And one thought. Greg the Hammer Valentine, I can't appreciate the pick. So, like you with Ken Shamrock, I'm going to take him off the list. And it's not to it's to lack of pretty much ignorance. I don't know Hammer's record when it comes to Intercontinental Championship reigns. And his matches. However, I would
the thought has to be the idea that honestly, who should take his place?
This is a personal opinion of mine. I think Regal had enough good runs with the title that he should have been on it. At that lower number, Regal, I think.
Yeah, I think the placement, if you're replacing him with someone, is correct. Like, you could say Regal or, in my view, and this is not just favoritism, Edge, because I thought his reigns were really meaningful, and he even won the King of the Ring and got the damn title.
Wait, answer. Do you move him up, move him down?
I move him off.
Move him up?
I move him off.
Okay, so Great Hammer Valentine's hard to say. You're gone.
Especially since, like, I understand that they list these above and beyond, but in the same factor, you have Greg Valentine, but you don't have Pat Patterson, the very first one. How?
Okay. Now we move to number 7. The King of Arts, the Rocket himself. Rest in peace, Owen Hart made the list at number 7. I'm gonna go to Jesse. Jesse, do you move him up? Do you move him down? Do you keep the same? And one thought.
My thought is, I'd actually might move him up just one spot. I think number 6, just outside the top 5, is more of his style because, like we were talking to before the show, we were going over. I was asking him, when he called IC, do you think more of Brett or Owen? And when it comes to IC, you do think more of Owen because he didn't get the chance to win the big belt like his brother did. And I can understand that. And I think his title reigns were good, and some of them were, memorable, like him breaking freaking Stone Cold's neck.
Even though he lost the match.
Yeah, but I would move him up one spot and believe that he does belong on the list. Okay. He does belong on the list. I'm not shocked at all.
I'm moving him down to number 8.
You move him down to number 8.
When I think of Owen Hart, not only do I think of a great athlete and a good wrestler, I think of tag teams. To me, he's a tag team. To me,
I agree. He was a part of a lot of good tag teams, including very underrated. Like I talked the last one, High Energy with Coco B. Ward.
I think Owen is right where he needs to be.
All right.
But I think he's going to drop down.
All right. Next up at number 6 is astonishing Cody Rhodes. I personally think that his reigns were great. He defended it almost every single time. He had a lot of good personas, and he put it together. And I would agree with him. You know what? I'd move him down. You know what? I agree with him being on the list, but I'll move him down since I was moving Owen up. I'll say they just switched spots, 7 and 6.
Okay. It's hard for me. I love Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is a great talent. I think even with Stardust right now, he's still doing really good things. However, when it comes to Cody, looking at who is on the list ahead of him, it is hard to move him up. It is hard to move him down for me. So I think at 6, I'm going to leave Cody Rhodes as it is. My one thing when it comes for Cody Rhodes' Intercontinental title runs, not only for me memorable, they were memorable. I remember a lot of good things about them.
He knew how to sell to be a heel, and he knew how to sell to be a face.
Every one of them was different, so that's always good. So Cody Rhodes is perfect at 6.
And the biggest part about it is he brought back this IC.
Yeah,
this classic white IC championship.
Number 5, we are going with the one, the only, the bad guy, Razor Ramon. Do you move him up? Do you move him down? And one thought.
Here's my problem. Is I kind of want to keep him on the list, but like I said, you have so many IC champions and in past, and there were so many memorable ones. And you think about, like I said before, there wasn't no Shawn Michaels, but there was Razor. Now I guess the argument can be that when they had that argument where both of them thought they were the actual true champion, and he had that amazing, huge, memorable, amazing ladder match between Shawn Michaels, HBK, and Razor Ramon, and Razor beat him. I think that's where the argument comes where he's on the list and not Shawn. But now you're also asking, where's Savage?
We're still talking about that. We still got room.
Yeah, but I guess you know what? Let's. If I'm gonna keep him on it, I'm gonna move him down a couple spots.
Okay, Razor.
I'd move him down to probably close to like 7-9.
Okay.
Like he was great, but and
Um,
I liked him, but
for me, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall is Intercontinental Champion. I think he's the consummate Intercontinental Champion. He was a good worker. I think not. I'm not completely disagreeing with you, but I think when you think of Razor Ramon, you only really think of the Intercontinental Championship because that's the only really title he wore
because
in WWE.
he didn't win the title from Bret Hart at Royal Rumble.
So when you think of, like you said, Michaels or Savage, they're more known as heavyweight champions. So I think that's where it kind of comes in. Razor, this is what hard me with Cody because I can't move Razor back, and once again I can't move Razor forward. So for me, at number 5, Razor Ramon is perfect where he needs to be. His whether he was a heel holding the title or whether he was a face holding the title, he always held the title very very well.
And he could persona the bad guy very well. No matter, even as the bad guy being a good guy in a bad guy way.
So Scott Hall, Razor Ramon 5, Intercontinental Champion all the time. I can agree with that. Even with the list being redone in my head, Scott's still a strong 5-6, but 5 for this list is perfect for me.
All right. Well, coming in number 4. There's no other way to say it, but he was completely and absolutely perfect. Mr. Perfect comes in at number 4. Honestly, fine. Completely agree. Number 4, he's perfect for that because, as Roddy Piper says in the skit, the title, what he made the title good, but he didn't. The title did. Well, no, he needed
the title needed him more than he needed the title.
Yes,
having Curt Hennig hold the Intercontinental Championship helped the Intercontinental Championship more than helped Curt Hennig, which is why this is a sin, and I held my cool this entire time. Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. When I think of the Intercontinental Championship, I think of that title. I think of him. He should be number 1. He should be number 1.
I put him in number 4. Okay.
1.
The factor goes in that number 1 and 2 have 2 statistics that reason why they are there.
Don't care.
All right. 1. Well, here's gonna be the argument. Can we agree to at least move him up to just 3?
Yes, because 3 doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So we can just say that he should be moved up 1 spot at least to number 3 instead of being at the perfect 4, where I can at least say
perfect,
fine.
Perfect,
but he's perfect 3. No, I'm probably sorry. We already had this discussion, and I completely agree with who is number 1 when we get to it.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is your confusement.
The Ultimate Warrior. Yes, I get it. To me, he's down on the list, and my one thought is the only reason he's so high on the list is not only did he beat
Honky
Tonk Man in
13
seconds, is the fact that he was the only Intercontinental Champion to beat the WWF Champion, which happened to be Hogan.
Title versus title match.
WrestleMania 6. So I get why he's 3.
No, he was not the only one. He was the first person.
He's the first one. But I get why he's 3. I don't like the fact that he's 3. But I move him down. I think it's an overrated pick.
All right. Let's move him down 1 spot. We're gonna change him with perfect because the rest of the list is like we've mixed match and said our things about it. But okay, now I'm gonna really fully go there. I'd rather have Savage. I'd rather have Savage there. I'd rather take Warrior off, and no offense, because he brought in the idea just like Savage did, of the IC is the real gateway to be the main champion, and that persona when he beat him and became the first double champion. All right, for title match, and he had that nice yellow Intercontinental Championship, even though I preferred the white one, but that's the thing. Savage not being on the list, but Warrior being on, I'm sorry, Savage belongs with it because that IC belt was so perfect for him. So we'll take Warrior off. We'll move Perfect up to 3. We'll put Savage at 4 in a sense.
All right, let me introduce number 2.
Go ahead.
Number 2. Let me just say this: when you have long sideburns and your hair slicked back, and he comes to your town in a pink Cadillac, he must be the Honky Tonk Man, the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time. Love or hate him, the Honky Tonk Man. I hate to admit, yes, number 2, Honky Tonk Man for me is fine. Only thing I'm moving back to 3. I love Honky. One thing about Honky, My only thought on this is the fact that as later in life, I've learned to appreciate the Honky Tonk Man a lot more.
Including him getting hit in the damn face in the best Royal Rumble of all time, 2001, where he got hit with his own guitar by Kane.
You know, it's probably I've heard of Jeff Jarrett versus Honky Tonk Man guitar smash.
I actually think they actually have had a
Yeah,
match.
but Honky Tonk Man at number 2 on this list does make perfect sense. On this
Because
list particular, I wouldn't move.
See, a lot of them want to say the superstars will actually go on and say that the Honky Tonk belongs at number 1 instead because of the fact that he held it for as long. But when you look at the statistic and you say he's held it for that long, but the problem is that he also lost it in 13 seconds. Sometimes title reigns, the amount of title reigns, are more important than the longevity of the title reign.
Which brings
us to number 1, who, in my view, completely and utterly belongs, and in my view, is the all-time greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The one, the only, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, Y2J. Held the damn title 9 times.
I mean,
I still believe he should have the title at least one more time, make it perfect 10.
Nope, everybody moves back one for me.
Everybody moves back one for you.
Yep. Everybody moves back one.
That's because you want Mr. Perfect as number 1.
For this,
hey, maybe if he would have got more reigns, he didn't need the title to be as perfect as he was. He should have held the world title. He should have held the WWE title. There's no reason why he couldn't have had the title.
But Jericho, on the list, Jericho's fine. Yes, he did hold the title 9 times. I think he's a great Intercontinental Champion. I'm not diminishing Chris Jericho at all. It's just personal opinion. If you take feelings out of this, Jericho at 1 makes sense. It does. I'm not taking any away from this.
Just the factor that he's held it 9 times.
So to recap this real quick, we both agree Jarrett is fine. He takes off Ken Shamrock. I leave him pretty much where he is. We both take off Greg the Hammer Valentine. If I remember correctly, we both moved Owen where he was or kept him back. Cody stayed where he was or dropped. Razor stayed where he was.
I thought he dropped like a couple spots.
Yeah.
Just because, he don't.
Perfect for him, stayed at 4. I put him up to 1. Warrior was off the list completely for him.
Savage.
I dropped him back. Honky Tonk and Jericho stay.
It makes sense. It completely makes sense. You got the 2 most important records for the title. And in all fairness, this is a thing that there were certain ones, like I said, Ken Shamrock and Greg Valentine. There's certain ones that really didn't make any sense, and we had to talk about it because there were certain people like Shawn Michaels and Randy Savage that are not even on this list. But overall, I think the list was pretty good. Okay. It was pretty good.
I'm not hating on the list. It was a good list. This is our first episode of What Were They Thinking? We're going to do this a little bit more. We're going to take different countdowns and really take a look at these. With these ones, out of scale,
I'd like to see what they would do with either the tag titles or the U.S. Championship.
Yeah. Out of scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give the list about a 6.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
7.5. So 6, 7.5. This is Robert Vine, Jesse DeAngelis with Pro Talk Elite. We will be getting that next episode of Raw and that first episode of Nitro. We do promise that coming soon.
Yes.
However, for What Were They Thinking? We'll let you decide. Leave some comments. Have a good night, guys.
All right.